start here, go over each of the 13 signees, including Will Johnson, transfer from West Virginia. And if you could just give us, I'll mention the signee by name, if you could just give us one or two words. If you could just describe in one or two words for each guy. Start with Will Johnson from tight end transfer.
I'd say a great athlete, great size, and has a passion for the game.
Quarterback JT Bradwell.
I'd say a competitor. Has a live arm, won a lot of state championships, good football player.
Offensive lineman James Passmore.
Aggressive, love his tenacity. He has a great demeanor about himself. Great size, great quickness.
Another offensive lineman, Greg Story.
Greg Story, strong, big, physical, athletic. Hadn't played a whole lot of football, but man, he's a big-time player that we anticipate to be a dominating offensive lineman whenever he gets that opportunity.
Local product, wide receiver B.J. Farrow.
B.J. Farrow, I would say, very athletic, very explosive, jump out of the gym, has outstanding skills both on the court and on the football field, and I think he's great hands too.
Fullback Buddy Edwards.
Buddy Edwards, big, strong, physical, athletic, loves the game, has a passion for the game, and I think he's another great competitor. I think that's the most common thing about this whole group. I think as we go through, they're very, very competitive.
Linebacker Lucas Irons.
Lucas Irons, tenacious, quick, fast, explosive, a guy who let you say, here's how you tackle. He's a great tackler. Only played 1 year of football, 2 years of football.
Defensive line, Javon Majors.
Javon Majors, tremendous player. We had him in our camp that we had in Virginia Beach, so we got to recognize him, develop a relationship with him, and I think he's his best football's ahead of him.
Another defensive lineman, Tolan Avery.
Quick, tall, rangy, athletic.
A couple defensive backs, Corbin Jackson.
Corbin Jackson, tremendous athlete. He probably play a whole lot of different positions, and I think he's explosive, very quick on the basketball court. Got a chance to see him play basketball, a great leader. I saw the basketball team particularly, got a chance to see them respond to him and his leadership, and has great athleticism.
Another defensive back, Chris Turner.
Chris Turner, tall, rangy, athletic, tenacious as far as being physical in his play, but very athletic along with that.
Safety, A.J. James.
A.J. James, he could probably play any position probably except for offensive line. A quarterback, receiver, he's just so athletic, good speed, and I see him as a guy that's a striker as far as playing on the defense. He will hit you.
And safety, Cam Jackson.
Cam Jackson, another great athlete, played baseball, is running track, another great athlete that's very, very good. Going to probably play him as a safety. I think his best ball's ahead of him. He really was more of a pretty good, really baseball player, and then started playing some football and really is coming to his own. So I think his best ball's ahead of him.
You spoke a little bit about the whole class being competitive. Could you expand upon that, and just, how would you describe the class as a whole?
I think as a whole that they fit our needs. We kind of went for more needs. And being more specific as saying we needed defensive backs, so we ended up getting 4 of those guys. That was a need for us to really get 3 or 4 quality defensive backs. Maybe a couple of them may have a chance to play this year. I think the other thing was our need was trying to get 1 or 2 more defensive line. We're looking for really an inside guy and then a speed guy. Tolan Avery fits that speed guy, and Jerron Green, he fits Javon Majors fits that area as far as the D tackle. And I think it's just all in that aspect of being able to fit our needs on both the offense and defensive side of the ball.
This kind of ties into that question as well. As you and your staff began putting this class together probably a year ago or so, what were some of your main priorities?
Well, I think the main priorities was trying to find people who were very competitive. And when you say, well, what do you mean by being competitive? Talking to coaches and then asking them the questions why they play the game of football. Do their players or teammates respect them? and then looking at them when something negative occurred in a game, and then seeing how they responded, watching that on tape. A team just scored, or they just had they capitalized on scoring on a short yardage situation. They were able to rebound from that. So those are the things that we look for, and anticipating these guys that fit. And obviously the ultimate thing is, do they fit in this aspect of our university? Are they willing and openly to be able to hear the Christianity part of it? Not to say that some of them have accepted Christ as personal Lord and Savior, some haven't, but being open to accept the Christianity of accepting Christ as their personal Lord and Savior and having a relationship with Christ.
I know you can't predict the future, especially injuries that may occur, but what positions do you foresee that there will be opportunities for some true freshmen to play this year?
DB will be one of the areas I think would be, as far as that goes, it probably hard for some of the offensive linemen, tough for them to play in their first year of it, but I would say the defensive back would be probably the one position where there definitely probably could be two people playing, not so they may not be starting, but they probably get some playing time.
Okay. Switching gears a little bit and talking overriding subject with conference realignment facing us, and tying that into recruiting. When you or your coaches go and visit with prospects, whether it's this class or upcoming classes, is that something you openly talk about, Liberty's desire to play at the FBS level?
Yeah, we talk about that. It's obviously out there in the public. We're actively out there trying to move up to the FBS level, and so that is something on our mind. I guess there's some positive about it, and you can say a little bit of a negative is saying when. You know, when is that going to happen? Is that going to happen within my 4 or 5 years? I can tell them I can't guarantee that, but I anticipate it to happen. Only God knows that answer. But I think we're all doing what we need to do as far as our administration, doing things in place to making sure that the people, when going in a conference, decide that they want to let Liberty in, where there's no hesitation. We're ready to go, fully ready to go as far as our scholarships and all those things of that nature. So it is some positive, and that's a little bit of negative, but I think it's more of a positive than there is a negative as far as people, because most players and parents, for as the next level, most of them state that I want to play at the highest level that you can in football, and so Division I and 85 scholarship, that's the highest level. So it's not necessarily they want to always play at that so-called high-ranked schools, and from a football side of it, but they want to play at the highest level. So I think that we will be in a whole new level of talent when God allows us to go to the FBS, because the people really want to play at that highest level, and plus they want to be in a Christian environment. I think that aspect is going to be great for us. We'll now have that opportunity. Not to say that you can't go to any other school and still have a relationship with Christ. Yes, you can, but this is going to be an environment totally where you would have that, so we have an opportunity to offer that to quite a few people across the country.
You kind of answered that question a little bit already, but whenever Liberty does move to the FBS level, how much of an impact do you think that'll have on recruiting and the caliber of athletes you can recruit here?
Well, I think we will be able to compete for the most part. Yeah, probably the top, if you want to say what the world says about the top 5 conferences, yeah, they're going to be able to get their people and their guys and all that. But there's going to become a time where there is a top-notch player in the country that maybe some of the top 5 conference schools, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and so on and so forth, that now they may want to say, I want to be in a Christian environment and play at the highest level, a total Christian environment. Like I said, there's Christian environment in a lot of other schools, at the public schools too, but there's going to be some cases where there's some top-notch guys. Now, they don't have that availability at this point in time. I guess a similar school to us that may be equal to that is Baylor. They have the Christian environment there. I think this will give us a more opportunity to have a lot more people to say, hey, at least to come visit us, there is an opportunity there.
Okay, I'd like to switch gears a little bit, talk a little bit about spring practice. You got it right around the corner here. Specifically, we're talking about the offense. A lot of good things to look forward to on that side of the ball, a lot of returners. especially at the skill positions, and Josh Woodrum at quarterback, and also Des Rice, Darren Peterson, as well as many others. How much do you think their experience should help the team as a whole moving into spring practice and then into the 2014 season?
I think in spring practice, we want to, offensively, we should be further ahead. We got a lot more experience on that side of the ball, and I think that we're trying to make sure that our techniques are better. Not being able to suffer and for us taking us so long to get our timing down. Now that we've been around a while, receivers, running backs, tight ends for the be the only position where we're lacking a little bit of depth. But I really expect our guys to really improve in that area and right from the get-go. It's not us need to say, hey, by the time fall camp comes, then our offense will get going again. I expect them to be going very, very strong here in our spring football practice. With the 2-year start at quarterback, I think that sums it all up. We anticipate him to play at a high level.
You mentioned lacking depth a little bit at tight end. That position, or maybe any other positions on the offensive side of the ball that you're looking to hopefully see the most improvement on as you move into spring practice?
I think the offensive line, we always talk about the offensive line I kind of see them as the forefront of our offense. I know everybody says quarterback. That's true to a certain extent. But I think as our offensive line goes, that's where we go, because I think that they can control the line of scrimmage, both in a running game or passing game. Then I think we're going to be having a lot more success and being able to put a lot of points on the board.
And then looking at the defensive side of the ball, it's a little bit different situation. Lost several starters, particularly D-line and defensive backfield. Are there any particular guys you're hoping will step up to kind of fill some of the holes there?
Well, I think, first of all, probably Jacob Hagan has done a great job for us coming back as a starter at the safety spot. He'll be one of our leaders, big playmakers we have. Kenny Scott will be the other guy who's been more of our nickel back. He may play a little bit of that, but more of a move in the corner. As we lost 2 corners that have played quite a bit of football for us in Fogg and Akins. But I really feel like we got a lot of talent there, just inexperience. So I think that we'll feel pretty good about what they need to do. It's just a matter of them getting some playing time. Linebacker core, I think we're pretty solid there. D-line there, we did lose 3 or 4 people, key guys that played quite a bit. We're expecting Dominique Davis to be a guy that we hope to come in and really be a dominant player. Played quite a bit. He's been spot playing. He's been banged up quite a bit as far as not playing a whole lot, but he has the experience. And I think the other guy is Chima, who's away. He will definitely be our leader as far as that. He's a good football player, an outstanding football player. We're expecting him to be a dominant player and have a chance to be competing for the Defensive Player of the Year, because he's very, very talented, quick, strong. He's gotten bigger, gotten faster, gotten stronger. I anticipate him to do very, very well. So I think there's D-line wise, we played a lot of people last year, so we have some guys that have experience, but we also redshirted about 3 or 4 guys, and we're expecting them to come in and do a lot of great things for us.
Whether it's offense, defense, or even special teams, or any specific position battles that you're looking forward to this spring?
Well, I think the D-line, to see who's going to rise up and do some great things in that aspect of it, and then defensive back. Some young guys named Tyron Holloway at corner, Justin Guillory at corner. Kind of be 2 guys that we're looking at, Wesley Scott and Kenny Scott, what I mentioned, those guys there of that nature. So there's going to be some competitiveness there. So I think the corner and the D-line will be a very, very competitive aspect.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.